CNN and Abbey Phillips want to throw away the Constitution. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm watching CNN. I do this, and they've got Abbey Phillips on and a couple other reporters, Congress people, a couple speakers, whatever they call it, a couple guests on their program tonight, and they're talking about unusual ways, possibilities for extreme measures in the whistleblower testimony. So extreme measures in the whistleblower testimony. What does that mean? Now, as soon as I read it, I knew what they were going to say. There has to be a special exception against the Sixth Amendment of the Constitution, which, by the way, nobody at CNN seems to have talked about. You have a right to face your accusers. Sure, there are whistleblower protections in federal law, but this is not the same as yes, investigations can and should be started by whistleblowers. There should be protections under the law, and there are. They've been lessened over the years. They're in flux right now, obviously, but we still have no credible firsthand accounts. We still don't have anybody who's actually talked to the first whistleblower, which that bothers me. That bothers me that you're going to go through a lot of these things without. I'd really like to see some firsthand accounts. I mean, if the man has done something wrong, let's hear about it. Let's see it. As far as the transcript goes, which it's not even a full transcript, I've read it 3 times now. There's some ambiguity, and I'm not seeing a quid pro quo. He never says anything like, "For my re-election, to help me out, you should do this." I'm not seeing that, and I don't think he can point it out. Show me where I'm wrong. You know, I've read it. It's not in there. And don't tell me it's implied, because if the same accusation would come after you don't want your words to be taken out of context either. It's not clear cut. I don't think anybody can say, and anybody who says it's clear cut, I think that they're being disingenuous. I'm trying to be as unbiased as I can about this and look at it from a perspective. If it were me, if it were somebody else I knew, if it were another president, how would it be played out? And I know the left likes to say that, all Republicans do just believe it. Any of the lies from Trump. Well, you're making an assumption that something is a lie or there is conspiracy, by saying that. You can't. That's it's a false dichotomy. And the right loves to say that all left is just, we drink the Kool-Aid and do all those things and follow their echo chamber. And a lot of that's true. That's not to say that those things aren't accurate, but when it comes down to it, and I see, this bothers me right here. When CNN says it's okay if Congress makes special exemptions for a whistleblower, specifically so their identity is hidden and anonymous, that bothers me. You have a right to face your accuser in the United States. Yes, it can be dangerous at times. That's a risk that the witness has to take. It sucks, but that's the way it is. The old trope or the meme about the mob boss and you're in there witness protection. What was that movie with Schwarzenegger, Eraser, with song? God damn it, Vanessa Williams. I was there. Vanessa Williams and Schwarzenegger and Eraser. The whole movie was about not a great movie. It's a B. B plus maybe, good, not great. So it was about a whistleblower and a witness protection agency, and somebody infiltrated the witness protection agency. There are, where am I going with this one? There are protections for witnesses if you choose to testify, but the thing is you have to testify. You have to say who you are. And I think you would want that. Objectively put yourself in the seat. Do I want to be able to face somebody who accuses me of something that I've done wrong? How would that affect you? Can you objectively do that? I don't even mean this specific case. Just throughout your normal day, has somebody said that you did something like I didn't leave the stove on, or I didn't leave the door unlocked, or I didn't. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with that? And I think that if you can objectively look at that, I think you'll see things differently in this case. On both sides. On both sides, so don't get wrong there. But yeah, I think CNN's wrong. The Sixth Amendment's pretty clear on that. Unless they change the Sixth Amendment, the president, anybody who sits in the seat of the president or vice president or everyday Joes have the right to face their accusers. And yeah, many cases get thrown out because witnesses are scared. There is a certain amount of protection. At the same time, we have, if you want to talk about fairness, isn't it fair that you have a chance to debate a situation, or is it simply the first person who complains? Disgruntled employees, upset exes. This happens. It happens a lot more than we'd like to think it does. And we're fallible. We are fallible people. By definition, we're fallible. People are fallible. So just take that consideration when you're looking at these things. Try to look at it from the perspective of both sides. And yeah, sure, let's say the man's guilty 100%, does all sorts of shit that we don't even find about. Still has a right to face his accusers. That is the system of our government, of our justice system. You may not like it, but that's the way it is. And if you change it and make one exception now, one day that pendulum just may swing, and it may just bite you in the ass too. No. That's everything.